Today's video is sponsored by my favorite secondhand shopping app, Poshmark. So I've been shopping secondhand for about 5 years now, but when I first started, I made so much mistakes. I never really had a plan or any kind of guidelines that I would go by. I would just go to my local thrift store, sift through all the racks until something caught my eye, and then I would just buy it without a whole lot of thought. And of course, the result of that is that when I would bring the clothes home, they always suddenly didn't look right or didn't fit or didn't really go with the rest of the clothes that I had in my closet. So it was a lot of trial and error and lessons that I had to learn along the way. So today I wanted to share my top tips for shopping secondhand, and it's going to be a mix of in-person thrifting and online secondhand shopping, so that depending on what you prefer, you can learn from my mistakes and have a much better experience. So my very first tip, and you really can't skip this one, is that you have to have a wish list before you start. And I know I say this all the time on my channel, but this is especially important for shopping secondhand, where the prices are lower and you feel kind of better because you're not buying anything new, and you can really get carried away, and then your closet is just going to be filled with a bunch of filler pieces again. So before you start, just sit down and make a wish list either on your phone or a piece of paper, and just write down the top things that you would be looking for that you really need for your wardrobe. You can look through your closet, see if there's anything missing that you'd like to find, or write down any colors or maybe fibers that you're looking for. And that's really gonna help you filter out all those other items that are cute, but you don't actually need them right now, and you're really gonna focus on what's really important for your wardrobe. And I do wanna mention that sometimes when you're shopping secondhand, you do have to have a little bit of an open mind, because especially if you're like shopping your local thrift store, you can stumble upon something really amazing that maybe you didn't really think you needed, but when you see it, you suddenly just know that you can't pass it up. So there is going to be times like that, so really just use your intuition, but for the most part, use that wish list and try to stick with it, and that will help you make much less mistake purchases. My next tip is look for a specific item. So when you're shopping at your local thrift store, you're kind of limited to the inventory that they have on hand. But the best thing about shopping secondhand online is that you can really look for the specific item that you want. And the best place to do that, in my opinion, is Poshmark, who is the sponsor of today's video. Poshmark really is my favorite place to buy and sell my clothes. They have thousands of brands in every size, from gently used items all the way to brand new with tags. And you guys know that I talk about Poshmark all the time already on my channel, and that's because for me, they really have been the easiest place to search for what I'm looking for. So you can search for your favorite brands and find items at a really great discount. And my favorite brand to search for is Everlane, because I really love the quality of their clothes and their style, but they're a little bit too expensive for me to buy new. And I tend to look for brands that can really retain their value, so that if it ends up not working out for me, I can then turn around and resell it again on my Poshmark closet. Another thing that you can do when you set up your Poshmark account is you can preset your sizes in tops, bottoms, and even shoes. And then whenever you're searching for something, it's just gonna filter out and only show your size, and that can really save a lot of time when you're on the hunt for something. And that can be especially helpful for plus sizes, because I know those can be really hard to find at your local thrift store. But on Poshmark, they have sizes up to a 5X, so whatever you're looking for, you can just search for it, filter out your size, and hopefully find it much easier. So I have a couple items for sale on my Posh closet. I have this J. Crew wool blend sweater. It's really nice and boxy, has a really beautiful knit. Then I'm also selling these Everlane skinny jeans, which I did wear for many years, but they still look really nice and sturdy. So if you guys are interested in trying Poshmark, I'll have a link down in the description box where you can download the free app. And you can shop my closet or any other closets that are out there. There's so many brands and sizes to look for. It's completely free to download, and you can shop in the app in the US, Canada, Australia, and India. My next tip is to know your color palette. So I think one of the reasons that thrifting is so time consuming is that you have to really sift through so much things that you don't want until you find something that you actually like. So if you already know what colors you love to wear when you go thrifting, try to focus on only those colors. A lot of the times local thrift stores will have their items color coordinated, and that's really helpful, because when I go shopping, I'll just pass by all the yellow, purple, lime green, colors that I'm not drawn to and that I know I don't like. And then I'll just make a beeline for the gray, the white, the blue, the light pink, and that really saves me a lot of time. And this also works for online secondhand shopping. There's usually a filter button by color, so just go ahead and click the color you're looking for, and bam, that color shows up. and it just makes shopping much faster. My next tip is always check for measurements and compare it to the clothes you already have. So whenever I'm secondhand shopping online, I always make sure to check if there's any measurements listed. If there's not, then I'll just leave a comment and ask for the measurements, and I'm usually looking for like the pit to pit, and that means like armpit to armpit, and then the shoulder to bottom, that's usually the length of the item. And then if it's jeans, I'll check for maybe the rise and the length. And the reason for that is that I've been burned a few times in the past where, you know, I bought a dress that looked like it was the right length, but then it ended up being way too short for me. And that can be super disappointing when you're like waiting for an item. You think it's gonna be perfect, and then it's not. So now I know that I always need to check that, and what's really helpful is if they do have measurements listed, you wanna then take those and compare them to like a top or bottom that you already have at home that you really love the fit of. So I'll just measure my own jeans or my own shirt, and then I can kind of estimate if the fit will fit me right. And since I'm also a seller of secondhand clothes on Poshmark, whenever I make my listings, I always just make sure to write down the measurements, and sometimes I'll take a picture with my measuring tape because I know that people are looking for that, and I just want my listings to be as helpful as possible. And this can still work for in-person thrifting, especially right now when sometimes the fitting rooms are not open. So what you can do is write down some notes on your phone, maybe like the waist measurement of your jeans or the length of like a shirt or dress that you like, and then take a little measuring tape with you as you're thrifting, and just if you see an item that you love, just give it a little quick measure, and then you can know if it's gonna fit you right or not. My next tip is don't be scared to look in the men's or children's section. So this really is dependent on your size, but don't be afraid to kind of venture past the women's section. Look at the men's section, look in the children's section, because one, sometimes items can be put in the wrong section, but two, there's also a lot of great items like jackets, blazers, sweaters, tops that can be found in the men's section that would still look really great on a woman. And if you're a little bit smaller even, you can check in the kids section. So forget the size and the gender and just kind of look for what you like and what you think would look good on you, because the best thing about shopping secondhand is, you know, someone already wore those items, they're kind of passed down, so they're just there for whoever wants to buy them and wear them again. My next tip is make an offer. So for online shopping, don't think that the price listed is the price that you have to pay. It's pretty common that you can make an offer that is lower than the listed price, and the seller will consider it or will counter back. Sellers are usually willing to negotiate a little, especially if the item has been listed for a long time. So as long as you offer like a reasonable price, they'll be willing to consider it. The one thing here is, you know, don't ask for like a super low ball. Nobody likes that. So for me, since I sell on Poshmark, you know, if I list an item for $30, I would be okay if letting it go, you know, anywhere from 25 to 20, depending on how long I have it listed for. So as long as you're like within the 10 to 20% discount, you should be good to go. So this leads me into my next tip, which is to wait for a discount. So again, I'm giving you a little bit of some insider tips when it comes to being a seller on the secondhand market. But if an item is not selling for a while, then what I usually do is I'll either lower the price a little bit or just send an offer to anyone that has liked my listing, or sometimes I'll wait for Poshmark to host like a discount called the closet clear out sale. So if there's an item that you like that's maybe priced a little bit high, you know, go ahead and save it to your folder and just wait a little bit, because the seller might be willing to lower the price as the time goes on, and you'll be able to snag it at a lower price. And this is a little bit similar in like a local thrift store. Sometimes stores will have like discount days where a certain sticker is half off, so you can just get familiar with some of your local thrift stores and see what kind of discounts they have to offer. But speaking of discounts, this week I've listed a couple of new items on my Poshmark, and just to encourage you guys to check out the app, I've decided that all this week I'm gonna offer free shipping on all of my items up until next Sunday. So one thing that I finally posted is this wool coat. It's in really great condition, but I did take out the shoulder pads, so I'll have that listed on there. And then I also finally listed this linen shift dress that I'm reselling because it's just a little bit big on me. So if you guys are interested in shopping my closet, again, I'm gonna have the link to download the Poshmark app down in the description box. It's completely free to download and you can shop in the app in the US, Canada, Australia, and India. And I hope that these tips were helpful to you guys and you can feel a little bit more confident with shopping secondhand. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.